I'm very excited to introduce our guest because this program is still, for some reason, one of the biggest secrets in our state. And so Hollie's going to tell us all about it and make it not so secretive. But Hollie Harrell is the director of the Anderson 1 and 2 Career and Technology Center in Williamston, about 7 minutes down the road from me. She has more than 25 years experience in career and technology education and arrived at ACTC in 2002. During her career, it's been her mission to promote that career and technology education is driven by true employment needs and that it meets a higher skill level than that of vocational education. Since her employment at ACTC, work-based learning experiences have grown from 357 to 2,123, and an enrollment of 1167 has grown to 2219. This is an incredible program, and I can't wait for her to tell you all about it. So please join me in welcoming Hollie Harrell.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad that you guys allowed us to be a small part of your organization. So thank you. Thank you, Julie, for reaching out. If I can share my screen, I will share a PowerPoint first. If you'll notice behind me, I'm actually in the culinary arts classroom, and I have a teacher back there somewhere. We don't have any kids, though. You won't see any kids here, but I have a teacher back there somewhere. Chef Moree, can you? Yep, there he is, way in the back. Our ag teacher is back there too. We've got an event this afternoon. So I'm going to share with you about our center first and what we are and who we are. And then I'm going to have chefs step in too and share the money that you guys gave us and what we're doing with it. How's that? All right, let me share my screen here. Share. All right. Like that. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. So we're going to start by, going to what we are. So we're a public career and technology center. We service 2 school districts, Anderson School District 1, who has Palmetto High School, Powdersville High School, and Wren High School. And then Anderson District 2, which serves Belton Honeypath High School. So we are a conglomeration of both of those school districts. We are made up of a board of trustees who govern our school. They have 2 school district elected officials from District 1 and 2 elected officials from District 2. So pretty much if you're going to be on a school board for District 1 or District 2, then from there they vote to be on our school board. And from there, so I have 4 school board members. I also have 2 superintendents on there, but they're ex officio. They don't vote in any of our discussions. However, they have to be a big supporter of us or else we can't make this all work because we have about 80 to 85% of their students. So from there, they hire me and then I hire the rest of the staff. I have about 78 staff members at this time. Some of them are teachers and some of those are, of course, are support staff. And what makes us a little different than normal public school is we are politically based. So our local delegation, our senators and our representatives are the people who created us, and they approve our budget every year. So what you're seeing in front of you is our campus. The original building right in the middle was actually was built in 1972. And you'll notice that as you go around the facility, you'll see all kinds of different outbuildings. One of the ways that we're funded is we have to intentionally cut our budget every year. So when our delegation and our board approves our budget, we have to take a small portion of that and cut from that budget in order to build and expand. So you'll notice on our pictures here that each building's a little different, and that's depending on industry support, the funding that we have available to us. The best way to see us is obviously to come out and see everything. But since you can't be here, I'm going to just kind of show you our programs and what they look like. So please stop me along the way. If you have questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them. I'm not seeing any hands up or anything, so just holler at me and I will stop and answer your questions. So aerospace is our first program. We do a lot with drones in aerospace. In fact, this year we certified our first 8 students to actually be FAA certified to do drones, so they can leave us and go directly into the workforce. Agriculture is our second program on here. We have bees. We do some landscaping. Very exciting. 3 weeks ago, we had brand new baby goats. And then 6 weeks from there, we had brand new baby pigs. And you'll notice some of our students actually had got to participate in the birthing of these pigs. And they were just so excited. I think I was excited as they were as well. We have chickens where we get eggs from. We have our own cows and our goats, and of course, small rabbits. AP Computer Science is our next program. So this program is alongside of the College Board AP classes. It's just as important as your AP English or your AP Calculus. So students can actually receive college credit for completing these courses. Cybersecurity is one of them. That's kind of a hot topic to a lot of people. So very popular course. Automotive collision. We have our own paint booth here. We actually have 2 of them. We have a paint mixing system, but students can start off with fixing a small dent all the way up to repairing an entire car. We have the color match system down in the lower left-hand corner. So students can actually color match the exact color of the car, just like you can do at Lowe's or Home Depot. Automotive technology is the next program. So we have a very large facility. In fact, we're the largest automotive technology facility in the state. Students bring their cars in. We have advanced equipment that they can use, tire system, and they do the gamut from simple tire change all the way up to changing out an engine. It's amazing, though, how many automobiles are actually all electricity. So our students aren't just becoming mechanics anymore, they're actually becoming electricians within the automotive technology program. We have barbering, so students can come here and actually get their South Carolina barbering license, and they don't have to go anywhere else. Biomedical science is part of the Project Lead the Way curriculum. And if you're familiar with Project Lead the Way, these students can get college credit for these courses. So these are what we call our non-nursing students. So they're going to go into healthcare of some sort, but not necessarily nursing. So these students can earn college credit in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade years. Construction is a very popular program. In fact, we've encompassed construction with electricity and plumbing now. So students have the opportunity to build a tiny house, a shed, and they start off with a bench their sophomore year. Probably the easiest class that we can send out into industry. So instead of them coming their senior year to class every day, they spend 3 or 4 and sometimes 5 days out in industry working instead of actually coming to class. Cosmetology is also a very, very popular program. A lot of these programs are governed by outside entities. Like, for example, this one is governed by LLR in South Carolina. So students actually get their cosmetology certification license prior to leaving us in high school. Culinary arts, which is where we're sitting right now, is the next program. And I'm going to let Chef talk a little bit about his program at the end, so I'm not going to take any of his thunder. But he'll talk about that. Digital art and design is part of the graphics family. So these students are what we call graphics on steroids. So they may necessarily go into printing T-shirts, but they actually go into more of the design components of it, whether it be animation or still photography or digital art. These students are actually getting college credit as well through Lander University. Engineering is also part of the Project Lead the Way family. These students are getting college credit starting in the 9th grade. We do some robotics. We do computerized manufacturing. We do automation, electricity and electronics, structural welding, structural engineering, and electrical engineering. So they get everything in the engineering umbrella except chemical. Firefighting is governed by the South Carolina Fire Academy, and these students are actually getting their firefighter certification prior to leaving high school again. Huge benefit for the students, huge benefit for our local fire departments. We actually have a burn facility, and if you'll notice these two pictures on either side, that's actually inside our burn facility. So we have a propane-based fire that comes out of here, and we can control it with just a little click of a hand, and it controls how big the fire gets or how long it stays on. And then students have the opportunity to put it out and to earn their firefighting certification. They also get their EMT certification by the time they finish this program. Graphic communications is very similar to digital art. It's our printing class. They print everything. Everything goes to print, whether it be a t-shirt, whether it be a sticker, or they call it a label. They make mugs. They design them, and then they figure out the color theory behind it. Health science is primarily our nursing program. So this is most people want to get their nursing license. We do certified nursing assistant as well as patient care technician. So our students have an opportunity to do all kinds of operations within our local hospital system. They intern out there, and hopefully they get employed prior to us leaving high school. Law enforcement is a real popular program for our students. These are people who actually want to go in to be a police officer. However, because you have to be 21 in the state of South Carolina to hold a firearm, we have a couple other options for these students. They can get their 911 dispatching certification, so they can go ahead at 18 and dispatch, or they can be a security guard. And so you can work at a hospital or even at the detention center, our local detention center, and not necessarily carry a weapon. Marketing is our next class. Marketing covers a wide gamut of things. Probably the most popular is our social media. We have a lot of employers that come in here and want to intern our students or co-op our students for the social media experience. And of course, you know, students always have their phone on them. So they're very used to being on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and all those things. So a lot of our companies come in and actually hire our students to do that. They actually get a certification called HubSpot. And so it allows them access to all of the different entities of social media to do content creation. Mechatronics is our only program that we have partnered with our local technical college, Tri-County Tech. And students work with hydraulics and pneumatics and motor controls, a lot of electricity, both AC and DC. These students, when they leave us, if they're motivated enough, they will take the summer course, the fall course, and they'll actually have a 2-year degree totally paid for if they're motivated enough. Probably the most popular class for industries to come in and hire our students at over $20 an hour. And if they end up getting that 2-year degree, that associate's degree 6 months after high school, they usually start them at $28 an hour. And that's places like BMW and Bosch and ZF Transmissions. Media broadcasting encompasses both the audio and the video side. So our students actually create a short movie by the time they graduate. And of course, we have the only high school run radio station in South Carolina. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can actually go on our website and listen to our radio station right now. Programming and game design encompasses all the standards that is set forth by the State Department of Education in the programming. We just do it on a game design platform because, I mean, really, that's what our kids want anyways. They want to figure out how to play games. And if we can teach them how to do programming and in a game design platform, it's a win for everybody. Sports medicine has to deal with anything that has to do with therapeutic medicine or injuries. Our students actually spend a lot of their time interning at our local high schools and our hospital systems, learning how to take people up or take x-rays or using the different modes of injury therapy. Welding is our last course, and just like it states, they do MIG, TIG, stick welding, We have a large lab. They do metal building, metal cutting, and all of those kind of things. And then now we're going to get down and bring Chef here in just a minute, but this is what our money went toward from you guys. So we want to say a big thank you to you. I'm going to show you some pictures, then I'm going to turn this back on so you guys can listen to Chef on what they did. Here's my contact information. So I'm going to go back over here and stop our sharing. Cancel. And we are at a school, so that would be the bell. So this is Chef, everybody.
Hello.
So Chef, why don't you tell them about your program and then tell them what we do with the money?
Sure. So we have a 3-year program. We have an intro class, a level 1, level 2 class. So students can come here and we start very, very basic on culinary fundamentals, food safety, sanitation, basic cooking skills. So by the time they graduate, my goal is to have them ready to either work in a restaurant or have a good foundation. So if they go to work, if they go to culinary school, they can build on those skills. I tell the students, even if you have no desire to ever work in a restaurant, the basic cooking skills that you learn are going to pay off no matter what career path you choose. So it's a good life skill to have. And you never know, you may have been in a restaurant one day like I did. And just, when you realize that you love playing with food every day, it's a lot of fun. So here at the Career Center, we try to get them ready for that next level. One of the things we did about 7 or 8 years ago was put in a raised bed garden outside. We have about 400 square feet of garden space. And as you just saw from some of the photos, we have a lot of good green things growing out there right now. We've had some good rain and nice weather lately. So some of the money went to replace irrigation system that needed to be updated. Some of the lumber that had just aged over the last several years, the boxes need to be repaired and replaced. We had some good compost and amendments for the soil. So we had a good, healthy growing medium for these plants. And we started school 2 weeks earlier this year, and we're going to be starting August 1st. So we have almost an extra month of growing season when the students get back. We'll have tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, a lot of herbs, things that we can use right away when the students get here and school starts in the beginning of August. So a big thank you for the donation. It really helped us make some needed repairs and updates and buy some seeds and get some things ready. So then the students can be much more connected with where their food comes from. A lot of times they don't do a lot of cooking at home. And if they do, it may not be scratch cooking. So for them to see the vegetables growing in the garden outside, we uproot it, wash it, and then they're peeling and chopping and cooking it here in the kitchen. It's a really nice connection they can make to understand the growing process and how to cook that food efficiently and make it taste good and have a nice dish. So it's a fun program.
So just for synopsis, we have over 2,000 students on our campus. Within that, it's 9th through 12th grade, but we only have about 100 ninth graders. So the 2,000 students are 10th, 11th, and 12th. We graduate, this year we're graduating 473 students. Out of those 473, 159 of them had full-time jobs while they were in high school, all through us. So we connected them. So instead of them coming to class, so instead of Chef's senior, some of their seniors didn't come to class necessarily, we actually sent them out into industry. I see one of the questions came up is, how are your students selected for your program? Well, they're not selected. We are a public high school, so we can't discriminate and say you can't come. But what we can do, because we turn about 200 students away from us a year because we're at max capacity, what we can do is say, you have to come to your home high school every day. So if you got bad attendance, we're not going to have you come here because we got people that want to be here and want to come every day. So that's the first thing we look at. The second thing we look at is your discipline. If you're out there horse playing at your home high school and those kind of things, we're not going to put you in welding because you're playing with fire. And so if you're playing with fire down in Weldon and there's an issue, we could have a major issue. So those are the two things we look for in students. And once those are even, we literally put everybody who's asked for the program in our database called Power School, and then Power School schedules them. So we don't choose them, we don't pick that. All right, I'm going to go to the chat here and just kind of check out some questions that we've missed. Let's see. Chef's National Program. Yes, we are very proud. Chef, talk about what you guys do.
So the South Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association puts a competition on every year. There's a restaurant management side, and then there's a culinary side. So we've competed every year since I started teaching here in 2010 in the culinary division. We've won 7 straight state culinary titles. We won 11 of the last 12. Every year that we win, we go to the national competition, which the last several years has been in the Washington, D.C. area. And this year we placed third out of 48 teams from across the country.
Third.
Students earn scholarship dollars. It's a really neat event. And it was exciting, but it was a little frustrating at the same time because we were 0.225 out of first place. It was just razor thin. But I'm very proud of the students. Every year they put a lot of hard work into that. It's about 6 months from when we start to when we compete. And so it's a lot of time for them to commit after school, but it's paid off because they've earned some very nice rewards.
And Chef's not the only program that wins around here. We've won the National High School Radio Station of the Year, not this year, but the last 2 years before that. This year we won 7 national awards for them. We won first and third place in auto collision. We won first place in agriculture. We won first place in graphic communications, second and third in digital art. We've won third in law enforcement, second in firefighting, and 2 second places in construction. So we got a lot of accomplishments here. All right, I'm going back to the questions here. Let's see. Do the students have to come from Anderson County? Yes, actually, not just Anderson County, but Anderson 1 and 2. We are funded locally through the funds from Anderson 1 and 2 and from the state. So out of our total budget, we get about 8 to 10% federal funds. We get about 15 to 20% state funds, and then the rest is all local funds. So we say charge, but we charge our school districts our portion of the state allocated funds. So if the state says, I'm going to give every student in the state $10, we get our portion of that when they're on our campus. So we charge the school districts for that. But other than that, that's all the funding we get, unless we get donations like from Rotary Club. How much time is spent on trade courses versus standalone high school courses? So our students are here half a day. So chef seniors come every afternoon. So they would spend 2 classes in the morning at their home high school, eat lunch, and then come over here for the 2 classes in the afternoon. His junior level classes come in the morning. So they'll take their first 2 classes here in the morning. They go back to their home high school, eat lunch, and take their 2 academic classes in the afternoon. And they do that second semester in the morning. And then first semester in the morning, our sophomores come 9 weeks, and we have 2 of those. So technically, students can come here and take chef's class first 9 weeks as 10th graders, and then maybe take engineering second 9 weeks as 10th graders. Then the next year, they choose one of those programs to major in for the next 2 years, their junior and senior year. What are goals for numbers or percentages of students from the districts you serve? Well, what's cool about that, we don't have goals for that. It's whoever wants us puts it in, and both districts work together to make that happen. Now, we do try to have our percentage from each of our high school about the same. So we try to get 25% of our students from each of the high schools, but we may have an extra kid from Wren High School and maybe not so much from Powersville. So it just kind of depends on what Power School puts them in. We don't choose them. All right, let's go back. Almost makes you want to go to high school. I say that every day. It's awesome. Do the students transport the students, or do they drive? Okay, so students are allowed to drive themselves. If they have a driver's license and their parent says they can drive, they're allowed to drive. And that's a big, huge plus for the student, because a lot of times they go by McDonald's or Hardee's on their way here and they get lunch. But we do have transportation that, public transportation that students take, and then they get dropped on and off.
I have a question I want to throw in that I'm not sure I need to put in the class. This is for Schnapp, and it has to do with the competitions. And of course, we all have visions of either Chopped or, the Great American Bake Off or something like that. Is it that kind of high stress environment, or how are they actually judged?
Well, Chef, you need to tell them about Chopped first.
Yeah, about 8 or 10 years ago now, I had a 10th grade student. We got a casting flyer from Food Network. So I put it up on the screen and said, hey, if anybody wants to be on TV, here's your chance. I had one student that filled it out. and she went up to New York, and it was the first time CHOP had done a teen tournament. So she was one of 16 teens that were selected. She won her episode, then she went to the final, and she won the final. She won the whole thing.
The whole dang thing.
And she was 15 years old.
Go look it up. Her name is Tommy Ray Fowler.
Yeah, it was
Teen CHOP champion. It was really cool.
It was really, really cool. But the culinary competition that we do every year, because there's no place large enough to have 16 or 20 teams in a banquet kitchen at a hotel, it's set up where the teams have 1 hour to cook a 3-course meal, no running water, no electricity. They have 2 8-foot folding tables and 2 little camping burners. Now, there's no surprise mystery basket. There's no unexpected twist and turn. So we can plan the menu and practice it over and over and over again. But yeah, they have 2 folding tables with some burners. Every bit of equipment or ingredient we have to bring in with us. And so it's rehearsed, and we practice 2 or 3 days a week for months and months just to get it right, because every second matters. And then they turn in the plates. They have to do 2 identical plates of an appetizer, entree, and dessert. The judges taste one, and then the other plate goes out to the display area. So they have to cost out the recipe. So the math part, the recipe writing part, the grammar, the English, the math, it's all mixed in. And then, of course, they have to go out and execute and cook the food as well. So it's stressful for me to watch it. I can't imagine being a high school student and doing this. So I always tell them every year, my hat's off to you guys, because I can't barely keep my anxiety in check while they're cooking, and they have to be out there and be calm. I can't communicate with them. Once they go to compete, I have to be on the other side of the spectator area, and they're on their own. So it's a really neat event.
Well, I bet your heart was just about to pop out of its chest.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So the last question I see on here is about growing our program with our local technical college. So yes, we would love to grow our program more and more. We do have, like I said, our mechatronics class is partnered with Tri-County Tech, and then our EMT program is partnered with Tri-County Tech. So students can get dual credit opportunities through those 2 programs. And then, of course, we not just Tri-County, but we also partner with Lander University. And then, of course, Project Lead the Way and AP Computer Science has all kinds of questions. All right. What am I missing? You got any more questions for me?
There's one about teacher certification. What are your teachers required to be certified in to teach the technical courses?
Oh, that's a great question. So, our teachers are different, because my teacher can't go to a 4-year institution and get a welding education degree. That doesn't happen. So it just depends on what field it is. The State Department of Education requires 6 years of work experience in industry if you do not have a 4-year degree. But if you have a 4-year degree, it really doesn't matter what it's in, as long as we can relate to it, but you still have to have 4 years of work experience no matter what. So like, for example, Chef has a culinary degree, so he obviously has it. My auto tech guy does not have a college degree, but he has 25 years in an automotive mechanic shop. So it really just depends on where it's at. Now, if you're doing college credit like AP Computer Science, that requires a 4-year degree in order for students to get college credit. And Lander University requires that, and Tri-County Tech requires that. So it really just depends on what you're going to teach.
I believe Barbara Ellis had a question.
Yes, congratulations on this exciting program. I can see where every student probably would like to be a part of your, with you all. But is there I know the technical schools are out there, but they don't seem to have the excitement that you have about their schools. So what about, say, someone who's age 55 and just lost a job? What can they do as far as getting involved with, say, culinary arts or something, a new skill?
So we are a public high school. With us being a public high school and have funds that are designated specifically for high school students, I can't involve any adults in our program. We do have an adult program for our ag class. In fact, it's tonight. We do it once every, it's a Tuesday night. Is it second Tuesday or first Tuesday?
Yeah.
whatever tonight is. I think it's the second Tuesday for some reason. So we do have an adult ed program that there's separate funds for, but as far as any of our other programs allowing adults in it, I can't do that because the funding mechanism does not allow that. So I would encourage you to talk to your local community colleges because I know they have some things for you. As far as your question about being excited, I think part of it is the fact that I believe in career and tech ed. I believe, and I've seen it, what it has done, not just at our school, but in other areas in the state. I can see that CTE needs to be in everybody's life, some way, shape, or form. So wherever you're at, if you need to get a hold of your career and technology center, you let me know. I will find it out. We need people who volunteer. We need people to come in and do job interviews for our students. We need people to come in and look at resumes, judge projects, volunteer to help put on competitions, all of those things. Take a student. That's the biggest part that anybody can do is try and take a student. We have lots of them. We cover them under our workman's comp insurance. It does not cost you a thing to take a kid to job shadow. And a lot of times that job shadow turns into an internship, which is anywhere 3 to 5 days. And it doesn't cost you anything but your time. Now, we do ask if you keep the student more than 5 or 6 days, we do ask you to pay them because they are transporting themselves with their own money to your facility. But that's how we get most of our co-ops. And I'm telling you, when businesses come here and they grab one of our kids, they come year after year after year. We have well over 200 partners with our local businesses here taking our students. So please feel free to reach out to me and I will find some adult programs for you because I know they're out there.
Yes, a couple more questions and comments in the, Julia asked what percentage of the students from the two districts participate in the program in some way?
So we touch about 85% of the students. Those 85 don't necessarily complete. They just try out the 10th grade class. So 85% of the students at their home high schools touch our programs. Then from there, we narrow that down to about 61 to 62%. So that's what ends up finishing. Because once you sign up for your 11th grade year, you're in it for 2 years.
And then Ken asked, is there a program for AI and or architectural design?
All right. So we have just got some stuff for AI, both in the automotive area and in cybersecurity in the programming and development. So we do have it there. It has not necessarily been approved by the State Department of Education. So in order for me to award high school credit, every course that we have has to be approved by the State Department of Education. So those have not been approved yet, but we are working diligently on getting some curriculum for AI and from autonomous automotives. But we do have one in architectural in our engineering department. So that is one of the programs they take is architectural design.
And you may not know this, but vocational service is one of the important areas of service in Rotary, and Lene has a comment to that effect. He already does, along with several other club members, mock job interviews online for Tri-County. And I think we would love to add you to the lineup if online
Absolutely.
interviews would be of help to your students.
Absolutely. I can connect you. My email, if I can send it out here in just a minute, I'll send my email to you guys. Please feel free to email me with your contact information and I will pass that on to my work-based learning department. I have a large work-based learning department and they'll reach out to you and connect that. Now, our students just left us Friday, and then our underclassmen leave tomorrow. Tomorrow's their last day of school here. So we will have the summer without them. Our teachers' last days in 2 weeks. So as soon as they leave, the summer will be quiet. So our work-based learning coordinator can reach out to you and maybe set something up for the fall. And I appreciate that.
One of the things that I'm loving particularly about the program and our format is that we are on site with you for this meeting. And I just love our ability to do that. Thank you so much for sharing your space and your work. And oh my gosh, any final comments or questions for our guests today before we go on to the next part of our meeting? I'm just blown away. I had no idea this was here. And how many students find an avenue with you all? They may or may not be college bound, and this way they find the color of their parachute, don't they?
And really, it's trying to figure out. I mean, obviously, we want them to graduate high school. That's our very first goal. If we can get them a certification along the path and get them work ready, we're good with that as well. But our ultimate goal is to figure out what they want to do after high school, and we're just as good figuring out what they don't want to do after high school. If we can check both of those boxes, we've saved a lot of time for students and for parents.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much. One of the things we do to honor our speakers and to say thank you very much is to carefully select a book, especially in your honor. And also, Jeff, and I actually, if you don't mind, would you repeat your name, please? Because I'd like to make sure we honor you as well.
Sure. My name is Chris Moree, Moree.
M-O-R-E-E. Thank you, Jeff.
That's kind of cool.
And that's C-H-R-I-S. Or sorry, appreciate. Okay, thank you very much. So two of our members every week select a book that goes into a little free library somewhere around the upstate, and they're carefully selected for our. Well, this one is What Did Danny Do? And Never Ends. The reader follows Danny, a superhero in training. Career choices are amongst our biggest choices in life. And through Danny, the reader begins to realize how their choices shape their days and their lives. So thank you very much for being with us today and your time, and hope you do get clearly a well-deserved break over the summer where you can breathe a little bit. Oh, we do have another comment in the chat. Just let me make sure I'm not missing something here. And, okay. So,
just awesome program, you guys. It was really
absolutely
amazing to learn all the things you're doing for the high school kids.
Yeah.
I would encourage, if any of you are close to Williamston, South Carolina, please come by. I'll be more than glad to give you a tour, because I promise you, if you come in person, it's so much more impactful. And thank you again for the money and for the support.
Thank you, Julie, for bringing us these wonderful people and for making the connection through the environmental, the Chef Garden project. I look forward to seeing it. I may have to just come over and take a look at it in person. One thing we do, so just a couple other things. One, I wanted to let you all know about the program for next week, which is actually about our body language. And boy, I kick myself every week after I've been leading a Zoom meeting, and I go, gosh, did I really scratch my head 42 times? So anyway, I'm really looking forward to that conversation about body language and helping us understand why we do what we do. But the other thing we do as Rotarians is we end our meeting with the four-way test, the Rotary four-way test. And if you would take yourselves off mute, if you are on mute, and recite with me together. The Rotary test of the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second,
Is
it
fair
to others?
Third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And we started throwing in a fifth one, which is it fun?
Yes.
Because we do like to have a little bit of fun. Thank you all so much for being here. Safe travels, lands to Europe. You're headed from Milan down to Sicily. Oh my goodness. And just everybody have a safe afternoon. And Holly, thank you for the email address. And just to let you know, I will, when I send out the recording of this, I will include the text from the chat also, because there was a lot of really good information that was shared in the class. So
Awesome.
have a great afternoon.